Good afternoon and welcome to This Week at Alabama A&M University. I'm your host, Michael Burns. And this week is National Transfer Student Week. And Alabama A&M University will celebrate and observe this week of activities. Joining me today to talk about that is Dr. Pamela Little. Dr. Little is a staff member here at the university. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what she does here at Alabama A&M University. Dr. Little?
Certainly. Mr. Barnes, thank you so much for having me on today. I am excited to be able to share a little bit about the National Transfer Student Week, as well as the work that we do in my department. As mentioned, I'm Dr. Pamela Little, Executive Director for Community College Relations and Global Initiatives here at Alabama A&M University. In the Department of Community College Relations and Global Initiatives, we are responsible for making a seamless transition for those students who are coming to us from community colleges or other universities as transfer students. Our position is to make it as easy and as simple as possible, while also making sure that the students are informed of what's available to them at the university. Within our department, we also work with our international students. And as we know, students who are coming from abroad oftentimes have some cultural differences. They have maybe a few obstacles that they have to overcome, and our office is responsible for making sure that those students who are coming to us from other countries also have a seamless transition to the university. My position as the executive director is to lead the team in all of our recruitment efforts for transfer students, as well as our international students. We're located in Raffley Student Center, room 113, just on the hill. We are excited to be here on the radio show today to talk about the National Transfer Student Week, and we hope that you all are planning to join us in the many activities that we do have planned.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us on This Week at Alabama A&M University, Dr. Little. We appreciate that. First question I have for you is, what is a transfer student?
A transfer student is anyone who did not initially start at the university for their higher education. For example, a student who is now attending Alabama A&M but first attended a community college will be considered a transfer student. That student can come in with an associate's level degree. You are still considered a transfer student. And a transfer student can also come from a community college with having taken a number of credit hours. So anywhere from 12 or more credit hours, if you're coming from a community college or even a university to Alabama A&M, then you are considered a transfer student with us.
So why does Alabama A&M University, and in fact, why do colleges observe National Transfer Student Week? Why is this important?
Well, now, Mr. Barnes, we find that many students are transferring more than ever, whether they're transferring from one community college to another, whether they're transferring from a community college to a university, or even from a university to a university. And it's at this time that we want to recognize those students. We want to help to make sure that their transition is seamless. It's really important for us to be champions for those students and to build awareness on campus of the importance of transfer students. Transfer students come in with a number of things that are different than what we typically find in our first year freshmen. They do bring experience to the campus. They bring more diversity to the campus in age and majors, cultures, ethnicities. Sorry, I couldn't get that word out. But we also want to make sure that we are identifying and recognizing what those barriers may be for our transfer students. We want this to be a great experience for them. And the campus benefits greatly from transfer students. Of course, we look at the number of students who are attending the university as far as our head count. So that helps to increase the number of students who are enrolled at the university. And as I mentioned, the diversity of the campus and the experiences that those transfer students bring to us.
All right, well, you covered a lot there, Dr. Little. You just took half my questions out, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
You're fine. But I do have a question that you didn't answer, though. And why are these students enrolling at community colleges before they transfer to a four-year? Why are they deciding that they don't want to go straight into four-year schools?
Well, that's a loaded question in a sense, because there are a number of reasons why a student may start at a community college before attending a university. Of course, the cost sometimes is a concern. Can the student afford to pay tuition and other fees that are charged at the university level? Oftentimes it could be location of where the student is. Is the student in a city where there are a number of community colleges that are designed to service the students and prepare them for the four-year institution? It may be major. It could be academic preparedness. There are a number of reasons of why a student may choose to attend a community college. For some, it may be that they're not quite ready to break away from what's familiar to them, to move forward to a university. And most cities have a community college located there, those hometown institutions where students can continue to be in an environment that's familiar to them, while also improving and increasing their education levels. So community colleges have a great value to our communities. They are a great source for universities. So we support the community colleges that are located here within our local area, as well as those that are outside of our local area, because we know the benefit of the community colleges and the resources that they provide to students. And having worked in community colleges for a number of years, about 15 years or so, I've seen, how students are able to grow and to become even more confident and comfortable in their education endeavors as they are attending community colleges and are preparing for the transfer to four-year institutions. So it's very important for us to have wonderful, great relationships with community colleges so that we can show our support for their students, and they in turn can encourage their students to continue their education at the university level.
In your position working at community colleges before you came to the four-year, did you find the majority of students go to that 2-year with the intention of leaving after 2 years and completing their education, or terminating their education at that point, or do they want to continue at a 4-year school after that 2-year?
So most times what I found is that a student who starts at a community college may or may not know which direction they want to go in initially. They know that they don't want to end their education at the high school level. They know that they want to move on, but they're not quite sure if they want to end that at the associate's level, or if they want to earn certifications, or if they even want to go on to earn a bachelor's degree. So again, it's at that community college level where students are able to talk with counselors, they're able to speak with advisors that can help them to decide what would be the best direction for them to go in based on their area of interest that the student has. There are many majors that students will have at community colleges that are designed to go straight into the workforce. And we know those to be the Associate of Applied Science degrees. So for those students who are in Associate of Applied Science, they may or may not at the time have the intent of transferring on to four-year institutions. And then there are those students who are majoring in areas that offer Associate of Science degrees. Those degrees are designed for transfer to four-year institutions. So typically a student who's in an AA or an AS program will have an intent to transfer to a four-year institution after they've completed their education at community colleges. So, I've found both students who are, they already know what they want to do. When they start the community college, they know for a fact that they want to earn their associate's degree and then transfer on to a four-year institution. And then I've seen those and have worked with those who know that, okay, I want to go into welding, or I want to go into barbering. I want to go into those areas where I am preparing myself for the workforce. But I will say, Mr. Barnes, that I've also found that students who are in applied science degrees, they later decide to start at the four-year institution or to continue their education to earn their bachelor's degree. So it's not a termination, even if they decide to do the applied science degrees. It just may be that they want to go into the workforce immediately after finishing the program and then choose to continue their higher education a little later. But again, the importance that the community colleges have for us in preparing those students, whether it's for the workforce or whether it's for a higher level degree, we can't find that anywhere where students can get the experience that they get at the community college level, where they can get the support that they need at the community college level, and as well as the preparation to be prepared for university. So again, that relationship between community colleges and universities needs to be very strong so that we can support each other.
As you look at your numbers and your data, do you find that there's a certain age that is more likely to start at a 2-year school and then go to the 4-year, or those students that delay going even into the 2-year college? Do they tend to decide whether they're going to go to a 4-year, or do you see any kind of correlation in there?
Well, again, that goes back to, the student's interest. And we want to keep in mind that even high school students who are graduating at 17 or 18 may start at a community college and then decide that they want to transfer to a 4-year institution, or they may start and realize that this is where I want to pause for the moment and go into the workforce after I've completed my associate. So when you're looking at that, it really varies. We deal with a lot, and I say we, meaning the community college system as well as Alabama A&M University. We have a lot of students who are first generation, many of those who fall into the low socioeconomic category. So there are challenges that these students face, and they need someone who can assist them to make it through those challenges. And again, at the community college level, they're designed to make sure that those students get exactly what they need and that they're making the right choice for what they want. And you don't have to be 18 to be low income. You don't have to be the traditional age student between 18 and 24. There are individuals who have, after high school, decided to go into the workforce immediately and bypass the higher education route, and are finding themselves wanting to retool. So they need a new skill because they want to advance in their careers. There are those who have decided they want to maybe totally change what they're doing. I've worked in, this particular field for 20 years, and now I want to do something totally different because I can see that I have more potential than what I initially thought I had. So I want to go back to school and earn a degree. So you'll find those different students returning to community colleges as well. And then you'll find professionals such as myself, having worked in a field for X number of years, having degrees in those particular areas. Those are things that we knew that we wanted to do, the areas that we wanted to work in. But you can also go back and take courses that support the hobbies that you have. So I could potentially become a chef, as someone who works at Community College Relations and Global Initiative. But if my love is to cook and I want to, have that as turn my hobby into, or my passion into something that can assist me in making some extra income, or maybe even just helping me to provide and love on others through food, then I would potentially look at a community college where I can go and earn a culinary arts degree. There are so many different crafts that we have as individuals, as professionals, that we don't necessarily think can be a benefit to the community, but we can take those passions, we can take those crafts, put some certifications behind them, put some licenses behind them, and we can serve so many different people, whether we're earning income from it or whether we're doing it out of love. We have actually had an opportunity to garner that skill and to make sure that we have all that is necessary, to in that particular area, so that we'll know we're putting out a good product. So community colleges, you're going to find students from 18 to 62. You're going to find students who are from low-income families to families who are in a higher economic bracket. You're going to have first-generation students to students whose parents both have doctorate degrees. It just depends on where the location is, what it is that the student wants to do, particularly the area of majors that the institution has.
Dr. Little, you mentioned the fact that these students are attractive to the university because they've got maturity levels, they've got some sense of responsibility and things about them. What does Alabama A&M University do to make themselves attractive to these students when they're looking to transfer?
Well, they hired me, Mr. Barnes.
Oh, well, okay. There's a start. What was I thinking?
That in itself was enough. I think we probably got 1,000 transfer students since I've been here. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're probably not, but go ahead.
I'm just kidding. But it is really important for not only Alabama A&M University, but other universities as well, to recognize the benefit that transfer students bring to our campuses. And all jokes aside, you do need to have a department that is designed and focused on transfer recruitment, a department that's designed and focused on the needs of those transfers and what it takes to get the students to campus. So I think with the university, with Alabama A&M University, having our office in place and allowing us to operate and manage in a situation where we can best, I guess, give the university what it needs, but also make sure that we are attracting great students was probably one of the best things or a great benefit to the university. So having a staff on board, again, having that culture on your campus where you are accepting of transfer students, which is why the National Transfer Student Week is important, because again, we want to bring awareness to the campus for transfer students. We want to set aside or demyth or debunk any of those myths that individuals may have about transfer students, helping them to recognize that everyone on our university campus plays a role in the success of our transfer students, whether you are teaching them in the classroom or whether you're servicing them through student services or if you see them in the dining facilities. So everyone at our university plays a really special role in making sure that our students are successful, and our transfer students are no different in needing those same services and that same attention.
You're listening to This Week at Alabama A&M University. I'm Michael Burns, your host. We're talking to Dr. Pamela Little. Dr. Little is the Executive Director of the Community College Relations and Global Initiatives here at Alabama A&M University. See, it's a long title. I got to read that one.
It is. You can
here
call it
Alabama
CCRGI.
CTRGI?
CCRGI.
Oh, CCRGI.
Yes.
See, if you told me that before, I would have messed it up earlier. We're here.
I'm so sorry. I should have
That's
mentioned
okay.
to you.
It's National Transfer Student Week, October 19th through the 23rd of this year, and Alabama A&M University is celebrating National Transfer Student Week here on the Hill. And we've been talking about what is a transfer student? Why should a student consider transferring from a community college to Alabama A&M University? And we didn't touch, and I guess I want to know, what are some of the special initiatives? What are some of the special rewards that a person transferring from a community college may receive coming to Alabama A&M University?
Well, for one, we have the Transfer Merit Scholarship that's designed specifically for our transfer students or students who are transferring into the university. A 3.25 GPA along with the required number of credit hours to transfer in is what we look at for that particular scholarship. That scholarship covers 4 semesters of full-time enrollment at the university. And I think that in itself is a great incentive because we know that the cost of tuition at any institution can be a concern to a student, but particularly if you are offered a scholarship, then that helps you to offset that cost and that takes away that burden of trying to figure out where your tuition will come from. So that's one of the biggest things that we have for our transfer students. As I mentioned, our office in itself is dedicated to working with transfer students. So you have a particular office that you can come to and have all of your questions addressed. You have your own admissions counselor. You have your transcript specialist, Ms. Sundance Knox. Mr. Darren Branch is our admissions counselor for our transfer students. And then we have Ms. Atari Steele, who works in our office as our program coordinator with our National Student Exchange Program. So you have a dedicated staff of individuals who are here to assist with the seamless transition for transfer students. And then, of course, the programming that we make available for our transfer students. We have a transfer student association so that students can gather together with transfer students from across the nation. So you get a chance to meet students from Detroit or students from Illinois or California, students that come from New Mexico, Georgia, just all across the world who have transferred here from either community colleges or even from a different university to Alabama A&M. So you get to strengthen and to broaden your circle as it relates to those students you interact with. Other things that we have with our programming, for example, just this National Transfer Student Week, we are collaborating with several different departments on campus to have special programs to identify and recognize our transfer students. The Bachelor's of Social Work program has put together a game night for transfer students who are in the social work department. So that's a great way for students to interact with those who share the same major as them, those who potentially have the same career goals that they have. Of course, we are working with our Career Development Center, Ms. Clayton and her group, so that we can prepare our transfer students for the upcoming career fair. So on Monday, there will be a virtual workshop that will explain and show our students how they can register and be prepared for the virtual career workshop that is actually going to be held on Thursday of next week. Again, our Transfer Student Association is planning a number of events and activities. We're working with the College of Agriculture, Life, and Natural Sciences to offer a resource fair for students in that particular area. We have the School of Education that will be doing an initiative with students who have transferred into the School of Ed. On Tuesday, we're so excited to announce that we will have our Takeover Tuesday, and this is a social media takeover where everyone on campus has an opportunity to get involved. We're asking that everyone on campus at some point during the day that they will post a positive message, maybe a testimonial, a video, a photo, a motivational quote, or anything that can show our transfer students that we love and appreciate them, that we're here to support them. And we ask that they use the hashtag AAMU loves transfers or hashtag transfer student week. There are a number of other events and activities that are taking place throughout the week. We encourage everyone to take a look at our website, the Community College Relations and Global Initiatives website. You can access that from A&M's homepage, and there you will find a list of all of the events that are taking place. So again, we are working across the campus to make sure that not only Community College Relations and Global Initiatives understands the importance and work with our transfer students, but there's an opportunity for others that are outside of our division or outside of our department to work with our transfer students and show their appreciation and support for them as well.
Covered a lot of information there. I am interested in one thing, though. You spoke on the fact that these transfer students may come to Alabama A&M from anywhere in the country, and you also spoke of the international factors involved. Do you have an idea of just how many states we've attracted students and how many countries we've brought students in?
I am so glad you asked me that question because that's a project that I am working on. And those numbers, Mr. Barnes, will be shared with the campus on next week during the National Transfer Student Week. So I want to, or actually share it this week for National Transfer Student Week. I want you all to make sure you're checking your emails and that you're looking for an infographic that will come out. That will be detailed information on how many transfer students we have at the university. We'll talk about grade point averages that these students typically have when they transfer in, their graduation rate. We'll also show the number of states that are represented, the number of institutions, whether they are 2 or 4-year institutions. So look for that information this week to be shared through your email. If you have any questions about the information that will be shared, then please just give me a call and let me know.
All right, and before we wrap up, we're going to get that information on how they can contact you for more information about transferring to Alabama A&M University and just the process involved. And I guess that is one of the questions I need to ask you is, what are some of the processes involved if a person wants to transfer to the university?
Okay, first, the student wants to make sure that they are applying to the university. And of course, you'll go to aamu.edu and click on apply. And then you'll create your account from there, selecting transfer student as the application option. Once you've completed the application, you want to, of course, pay the application fee. Send us your official transcripts from whichever institutions you've attended. If you've only attended one, then that's just one institution that you'll have your transcripts to come from. If you've attended many, whether you've earned 6 credits or 60 credits, then you want to have your official transcripts from those previous institutions sent to our office. And you will find that information again of where you can send those transcripts to on our website. If you visit the Office of Community College Relations and Global Initiatives website, everything is laid out there for you, from the addresses that you can mail your or have your transcripts mailed to, as well as the phone numbers that you can reach us at. Our primary office number is 256-372-5418.
Dr. Little, I'm going to ask you to repeat that because if they're like me, they write slow. So you got to say that number again.
So again, it's 256-372-5418. And our email address is ccrgi@ AAMU.edu. Again, that's CCRGI@AAMU.edu. So back to your question of what a student needs to do if they're interested in applying. After completing the application for admissions and having your transcript sent to us, those will be evaluated for admission purposes. You'll receive your acceptance letter. Be sure that you are reading that acceptance letter completely. In the event that there are different things that we may need you to complete, but make sure you're reading it in its entirety. And it will also tell you about the next step of advising and preparing for the upcoming semester. So again, detailed information about admissions as a transfer student can be found at our website. Just go to AAMU.edu, type in the search engine Community College Relations and Global Initiatives, and it'll pull you right to our webpage. The same for international students who may be interested in joining us on the Hill. That information is there for them as well.
Dr. Little, that's a lot of information, and you pass
It
it
is
out
a
very
lot.
well.
It is a lot, Mr. Barnes. And can you believe that I've only been at the university since February of 2020?
Really? Really? And already
Yes.
thousands of students.
Thousands.
Thousands of students. Obviously, you've done a good job and you know what you're doing. So we appreciate the efforts that you've provided to Alabama A&M University. And I guess we'll get to see your results. Since you won't tell them to me, we'll find out during the rest of this week, National Transfer Student Week here on the campus of Alabama A&M University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like to keep some things a surprise.
All right. So we're celebrating that through October 19th through the 23rd. So it kicks off today and we'll go through the end of this week. We want to thank Dr. Pamela Little, who is the Executive Director of the Community College Relations and Global Initiatives Group here on the campus of Alabama A&M University. We truly thank you, Dr. Little, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you guys have a great week.
Thank you. That's going to take care of us today for this week at Alabama A&M University. Thank you for joining us. Join us again real soon right here on 90.9 FM WJAB.